Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanking you from the bottom of my heart for you being here tonight. I want to share with you a few things that I believe are going to be very important as we move forward into the 2018 midterm elections and as we move forward into the year 2020, where we know we're going to reelect Donald J. Trump as the next president of the United States. Now, a couple of things I'd like to share with you before we talk about tonight's topics. One is, if you notice, that we are on YouTube. We have been overwhelmed with a large number of people. It's going into the thousands who have want to get onto our Facebook broadcast. And as you know, we're only limited to 5,000 people on one particular page. We did set up another page that's being populated now, but then we realized that since we are getting messages from not only around the country, folks, but from around the world, we decided to take this trial run for the next few weeks on YouTube. And hopefully through the YouTube channel, we're going to be able to see many of you become subscribers. You could subscribe to our YouTube station. It's absolutely free. There's no cost to subscribing. And we urge you to do that. And we also urge you, when you subscribe, there's a little button that says there, I believe it says remember or reminder. Every time we're on the air, you will be reminded. Or when we schedule a particular broadcast, you will be reminded. In the future, we hope to set up an interactive type program where I'll be able to look at the screen and communicate with you right on the air. We're also going to have guests that we're going to be able to talk to at remote places around the country, and you'll see them right here live, live streaming, that is, on the YouTube channel that we set up. All right, couple of quick notes, very important. January 18th, New Jersey Team Trump will be in Montclair, New Jersey. I'll be speaking at the Montclair Republican Club, January 18th, 7 p.m. in Montclair, New Jersey. On January 25th, I'll be in Monroe Township, New Jersey, at the Monroe Township Republican Club. And on February 6th in Middlesex County, New Jersey, where we'll be speaking, I believe that's a luncheon, 12 or 1 o'clock at the Middlesex County Women's Republican Club. As we move forward, we're going to be setting up our own events, that is New Jersey Team Trump events around the state of New Jersey, and we're going to let you know where those events are, what times that they're going to take place as we move forward. Now, a couple of other things, very quick notes before I move on to 3 or 4 different topics. We are working very hard to identify candidates for the United States Congress who fully back the President of the United States of America. We are not going to back anyone who does not support the President's Make America Great Again agenda. As I've said so often, folks, I've been down that road. I've been to that dance. You get people who get involved in politics. They look for the coattails of someone like the President, and after they get elected, they turn their backs and they walk away. Not going to tolerate that anymore. You're either all in or all out, because we're either all in. And we know that we are all in for President Trump and all out for anyone who does not support his Make America Great Again agenda. So far, so good on that agenda. He's kept every single promise he made, he has kept. And I see that as time goes on, more and more promises are going to be fulfilled. Said he would reform the Veterans Administration. He did. It's a lot better than it was under the Obama administration. He said he would address the tax problems that the middle class people have in this country. He did. Despite the mainstream media and all the pundits that are telling us that the middle class and the lower income people are going to get hurt, that is not true. Not true at all. You're going to see a lot more money in your paychecks beginning February, and those on the lower economic, socioeconomic, get the help that they need. And let me address this issue about rich people and about those who have a lot of money. You know, there's a lot of people out there saying that the rich should pay more, that the people who are making millions of dollars should be redistributing their money to everyone else. First of all, I'm not a rich guy, so I've got no stake in what I'm about to say. But I will tell you this, that those corporation owners, the owners of these large businesses, they employ people. They employ you, they employ me. They develop and create millions of jobs across America, and people can go to work for them. So they've made it, folks. They've applied their skills to their lifestyle, and their lifestyle is to go out and create companies, be creative, invent things, organize things, and build these large corporations. And they're employing people. they're creating not only large corporations for profit, but they're creating large corporations that employ people. That creates jobs. You create jobs, people get paid. People get paid, they spend that money on the things that they need. And the things that they need, all that money goes back into the U.S. economy. So there is an untold story about people that have created a lot of jobs in this country. So look, God bless anybody who can make $1 million. I don't have that ability to run businesses. My expertise is in national security and law enforcement and in political analysis. People have different gifts in life, and if God gave them the gift to do that, then so be it. God bless them. You know, we should get into the business of blessing people, of thanking people for what they contribute to this society, than this constant flow of condemning people and pointing fingers at them, et cetera, et cetera. We've had enough of that. And speaking about that, let's talk about this fiction. Yes, this fiction called Fire and Fury. Fire and Fury is now coming down upon the heads of Steve Bannon and this guy, Matt Wolf, the author of this book, this fiction. A few topics I know about, and I will speak to them with regard to what's written in the book. Let's talk about this notion that President Trump, then candidate Trump, did not want to win the office, that he came into the election to advance the Trump brand name. He came into the election to do everything but win. This is what is claimed in parts of that book. I can tell you, folks, it is blatantly false. I worked on that campaign. I worked very hard in the state of New Jersey in conjunction with other Trump campaign people around the country, including up to the RNC. And you know what I saw? I saw evidence of a man named Donald Trump who was dead set on winning this election. So let's look at evidence. You know, that word evidence is missing in the mainstream media's vocabulary. When we talk about evidence, the Democrats, the liberals, the progressives, they don't want to hear that word evidence, because when you talk about evidence, you have to talk about facts. And when you talk about facts, you're talking about truth. Well, the mainstream media doesn't talk facts, they don't talk evidence, and they don't talk truth. The same thing is with the Democrat Party, which has been hijacked, by the way, and I'll talk about that some other time. But the Democrat Party, they don't want to know the truth. They don't want any evidence supporting the facts that we bring forward. This is why you don't hear much of what I'm about to share with you in the next few minutes on mainstream media. It's not juicy, folks. It's not juicy. They believe that what they're reporting is going to be something that will increase their ratings. I just don't get it. Their ratings have been tanking since they've been on this vicious, unprecedented attack on a president. So let's get to some facts. Number one, let's talk about the excerpt in the book that concludes that President Trump didn't want to win, that Melania Trump broke down and cried election night because they won. She really wanted to lose, and that his whole family was in an uproar because the intent was never to win, it was to lose. Absolutely false. Absolutely outrageous that anyone knowing the facts, seeing the facts, and reading about the facts would even draw a conclusion. So here's the facts that I offer to you. When during the election, when Donald Trump was running not only the primary, but the general election, what did you see, what did you read about, and what did you hear on radio, day in and day out, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? You heard about a man named Donald Trump, who 24 hours, 7 days a week, traveled across this country from the smallest towns to the largest cities. And what did he do? He spoke to the people about America, about making America great again. At no time did he falter. At no time did he walk away. At no time did he give up. But you know who walked away and you know who gave up? Hillary Clinton. She was nowhere to be found many times. Was found everywhere across this country. That's evidence, folks. That cannot be disputed. That's a fact that I just shared with you. That cannot be disputed. So this is why you won't hear the mainstream media and others address this issue from a factual point of view, because it's not juicy enough. See, it's the truth. But the truth will set you free, the Bible says. So when we tell the truth, it kind of sets us all free from the outrageous statements that are being made and allegations like that are being made about the President of the United States. Now let's take the subject of Don Trump Jr. Steve Bannon and others apparently or allegedly have said that these meetings between Don Trump Jr. and others had a lot to do with the word treason. Outrageous, absolutely outrageous. How on earth does a person conclude that another person is in a meeting with other people and use the word treason? Treason, that's a strong, strong criminal act that the Bannon and others have accused the president's son of. Absolutely outrageous. There was no treason. There was nothing, folks. There was no crime committed. Want the proof? Let's go back to facts and evidence. Almost 2 years now, Robert Mueller's investigation, congressional committee hearings, Senate committee hearings, the Democrats investigated. Everyone you could think of who is anti-Trump, everyone under the sun has launched investigation after investigation after investigation. Where is the evidence that there was a treasonous act? Where is the evidence that there was even a criminal act? You see, folks, it goes back to facts and it goes back to evidence, because there is no evidence of a crime being committed. There is no evidence of anything that was done wrong that would conclude any reasonable person that a treasonous act took place. An outright lie, fake news, and pretty outrageous. Now let's get to Ivanka Trump. Now, there are allegations in this book, and there was, I understand, some unflattering words about Ivanka Trump that I'm not going to repeat, but let's look at the evidence. Let's look at the facts. Back in the 1980s, I was a detective with the Nutley, New Jersey Police Department, and I was a juvenile officer. So I had to do some research, and I didn't have to, but I wanted to do some research on celebrity children who were role models for the rest of the country. You know, there were people like Paris Hilton and people in that kind of a celebrity status that were running around, and you read about they're running to parties and who's getting drunk and who's doing this and who's doing that. To me, those people were not role models for young people in this country to follow. So I did a little research and I stumbled upon Ivanka Trump, Don Trump, Eric Trump. I stumbled upon the children of President Donald J. Trump way back then. So I found out through my research that they were taught a work ethic, that they never got involved in any of these social activities that would be embarrassing to themselves and their families, that they would simply be role models for the rest of the country. So when I went into classrooms and spoke to children about making it, about buckling up your bootstraps and working hard, and you're going to get places, I actually used the children of Donald Trump as role models, as examples. I wrote the president, then businessman Donald Trump, a letter and thanked him for raising his children along with his wife in the way that he did. And I shared with him I was using his children as role models. Well, would you believe a month later, I got a response from Donald Trump. The man took the time to write me back and thank me for the flattering remarks I made about his children. You see, those are facts. That is evidence. If you could point to me where Ivanka Trump has not used her brains and her strength and her honor and her dignity in her lifestyle, well, maybe you could say, you know, there may be some doubts about the book. But I got to tell you, that woman has done nothing but use her brains, her God-given ability to communicate, the talents God gave her to articulate many of the president's Made America Great Again policies. So when you look at this stuff and you read these books, you say, where on earth do these people get these things from? Well, they're not getting them from any basis of fact or of evidence. They're just making these stories up, folks. If this book, Fire and Fury, will prove anything, it'll prove that there is indeed fake news, fake stories, and now, as President Trump said, even fake books that are coming out looking to destroy this man, this presidency, and his family. Absolutely outrageous. Now, let's talk a little bit about what in the world is going on with Robert Mueller and the Russian investigation. Folks, I've got to tell you, in all my years in law enforcement, I've never seen or witnessed such a bumbling investigation, such an investigation with great compromise surrounding it. They ought to call this thing off and just let it go away. There are people who are investigating the President of the United States, who donated money to the Hillary Clinton Foundation, who donated money to the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign, who palled around with Hillary Clinton. I mean, my goodness. Look, when people tell me, oh, that's okay, these agents, they're not going to compromise themselves. Folks, if you were on trial and you had a jury of people who was in business with an alleged victim, I mean, on your jury, I'll tell you something. The agents of the FBI, the field agents, the guys on the ground and the women on the ground working hard, this has nothing to do with them. They're great Americans. They're great patriots. They do a great job in protecting this country. But I can tell you their morale is at an all-time low. Despite what these individuals on the top say, the morale of the FBI agents is low. The agency has been very, very badly tarnished because of not a field agent, but because of an executive named James Comey, who compromised the FBI way back when he was investigating the emails of Hillary Clinton, how he did this was draw a conclusion without ever completing the investigation is beyond me. But he did it. That he did it. And remember, he's the guy that sent information, I believe it was classified information, to a reporter, or at least information that was supposed to be kept confidential. Conclusion. Don't you think it's time we investigate the investigators? Don't you think it's time that all of these agents on Mueller's team, and maybe including Mueller himself, get brought before a Senate or congressional committee and they start getting grilled and we start asking them questions? Certainly something not right here. We know it. The entire world knows it. Everyone who has common sense knows it, except those people who are out to destroy the presidency of the United States and the Trump family. For some reason, they don't get it. They know it, but they're certainly not going to help us protect the integrity of the office of presidency and the president himself. So at the end of the day, here's what's going to happen. This investigation will conclude. There will not be any charges of such against the president of the United States. There will be no recommendations for impeachment there that's illegal. However, the hunted are going to become the hunters, because what's going to happen, folks, is the FBI and others who will be brought in to conduct a true investigation will find out, in my opinion, that the Obama administration and the Hillary Clinton years had a lot to be desired. There may have very well been some very serious criminal acts committed that need to be investigated. So you're going to see this thing turn around. And it's going to turn around, I think, not in a not too far distant future, because this Russia investigation has come to a dead end. Now, two more topics before I leave tonight. And these programs that we're going to have on the air, we're going to hold them between 15 and 30 minutes. We like to do some quick programs, and then I'm going to ask you to do something at the end of this program. Let's talk about Pakistan. I've been on the air a couple of times with overseas television networks talking about Pakistan. The Pakistani government is upset. Other governments are upset because the president decided to withdraw funding from the Pakistani government. Why? Because they have not behaved, not only in their own country, but in the United States. So my answer is simply this. Who on earth gave anybody the idea that these countries that are receiving American tax dollars are entitled to those American tax dollars? You see, we've been so conditioned around the world and giving billions of dollars to these countries, they really believe that they're entitled to your money and to my money. Well, the president made it clear they're no longer entitled to any money. If they want US aid, perhaps they're going to have to earn it and work for it, just like you do and I do. So the president's message has been to the Pakistani government, remember, you do have Taliban terrorists crossing the border from Afghanistan into Pakistan. They've got their little bases. They've got their training bases. You've got safe haven. So why doesn't the Pakistani government send their troops in and destroy the Taliban? Why don't they do that? Why is it taking so long for them to do that? Now, none of us really believe that the U.S. government woke up one night and realized that bin Laden was in Pakistan, all right, for a short period of time. Thank God we have a great intelligence agencies, or we would have never found out that Osama bin Laden was there. My point is, Are we really going to believe the Pakistani government, the politicians there, had no idea that the most hunted man on the face of the earth was in their country in a safe haven, a safe harbor? Give me a break, folks. We are not stupid, all right? And I don't use that word, but I've got to use it because there are some people who think we're stupid. But I will tell you this. A lot of these people that criticize the president, that criticize his policies, that constantly go after him, I will use this word, they're so dumb, folks, they don't know how dumb they are. Because if they think that we're going to lay back and we're just going to take this and take it, they're dead wrong. Because we're punching back, and we're going to punch back harder and harder as time goes on. We do things, at least on our side of the tracks here, with decency, with honor, with integrity, and we do it with facts and evidence. Something that the left doesn't do, something that liberals, progressives, and a good bulk of the Democrats, and especially the mainstream media will not do. So we'll continue to move forward, and we're going to move forward with facts. And now, the other topic that was brought up regarding a foreign country was Iran. Folks, the Iranian people are our friends. They're not our enemies. Our enemies are the Ayatollah, the president of Iran, and that whole crew of thugs that are running that government there. Those are the enemies of the people of the world. They're the ones that export terrorism. Those people on the ground, those fine Iranian citizens on the ground, well, you're going to find out. Just do a little research. You're going to find out how they love this country and how they respect and love Americans. And they do, folks. Some of them listen to broadcasts like this. So if you're in Iran, if you're a citizen on the ground, know this, that there are millions of American people that stand with you and that certainly want to see you succeed in bringing true democracy to your country. Now, don't worry about politicians in this country not standing up with the president when he expresses his support for you. We will deal with them as we move forward, and hopefully they won't be in office much longer. Maybe they'll retire to a farm somewhere. We do have people in this country who are elected officials who don't have the courage and the strength that you do. Those people in Iran and the people in the United States. And it really bothers me, folks. You know, I tweeted out the other night a request to elected officials in the GOP, because I wouldn't expect anything of a sort from Democrats. I mean, the Democrats made a lot of noise, and so did some GOP people make a lot of noise when the president moved our embassy from, or suggested that we move our embassy into Jerusalem. When the president of the United States declared Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, there were Democrats and there were GOP elected officials who were screaming from the rooftop, claiming there'd be bloodshed in the streets, claiming that it was the worst thing on earth to do. The sky was falling. None of that happened. Yeah, there was a protest here and there, but not to the magnitude that these people who wanted to frighten the living daylights out of everyone and try to, again, hurt the presidency of the United States, nothing to that extent. But they screamed, didn't they? Did they scream as loud when the people of Iran took to the streets? Did they scream as loud against the Ayatollah and those thugs that work with him when a number of Iranian citizens were killed by government forces? Disturbs me. The politicians in our country, they are so, I'll tell you what, they're so revealing, either by their action or inaction, because most of them, not all, we've got a few good ones out there, but most of them are morally bankrupt, really morally bankrupt. And I'm not talking about private life morality and all that. People want to do this, their business. They're all going to get caught one day. But I'm talking about what's morally right when it comes to expressing your views on freedom, on honor, on duty, on country. Where are they? Why aren't they issuing press releases or press conferences or statements or something to a great degree supporting the president of the United States on an issue like defending freedom in Iran? Where are they? They're nowhere to be found, folks. There's an election coming up. They don't want to offend people. They don't want to offend their special interests. They'll offend you and they'll offend me because we don't count in their eyes. They're going to find out in the midterms how much we don't count. Believe me, they're going to find out. They're going to find out because if New Jersey Team Trump in this state can grow from a few hundred people to the thousands of people that we now have following us and who are with us and who are spreading the Make America Great Again agenda, if they don't have some sort of influence over the Republicans and the independents and the Democrat conservatives, at least in this state, they're going to have a rude awakening. Now, I'm not going to lead anybody to believe that we're the most powerful organization in New Jersey. We are not. But we are going to be a power to contend with, because we decided, when I say we the people decided that we would stand shoulder to shoulder with the man we elected as President of the United States. And not only did we decide that we would be praising all of the good things that he has done and thanking God from the mountaintop, we decided that we would also travel with him through the valley. And we've had some valley experiences, haven't we? But there's something we do. When I say we, all of us in the Trump team, from New York Trump Tower to Washington, D.C., to Florida, to California, wherever we are, there's something we do that the Democrats, the liberals, and the progressives are missing. Before we do all of the things that we set out to do, we pray. There is power in prayer. If anybody has any doubt about that, you can email me and I'll show you. I'll show you step by step where there's power in prayer. I'll take time out to do that. But when you pray and you earnestly pray for God to direct you and to guide you and to bless you, and if you're screwing up, to kind of give you a spanking, he's going to do it. Because the will of God, I believe, is to bring peace and harmony to this earth and to every single human being on the face of this earth. That's what I believe, at least my God, who wants us to do that. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ as my Savior. And I know that this country, the majority of people in this country, believe in the Judeo-Christian values that this country was founded upon. And I know that the President of the United States believes that too. Because when I was at the White House just a few weeks ago, before anything was done, before the President of the United States made a speech, his wife Melania was by his side. He talked about God. He talked about country. He talked about the Bible. And then he asked some pastors to come up and to pray. Now, the mainstream media and others will not show that kind of stuff. But this is the kind of president that we now have in office. So those are the topics that I wanted to speak to you about tonight. We're going to be coming on tomorrow night at 7:30. I was going to go Facebook Live. I might, but I really want to stay with this YouTube Live. And I'm asking you to, if you have not gone to our YouTube channel, this is going to be posted on Facebook. I'm going to ask you to follow the link that we're going to put up. It'll be a link to our Facebook or to our YouTube channel. You just subscribe to our channel, and when we come up on the air, you're going to be notified. Secondly, become a member. I urge you to become a member of New Jersey Team Trump, even if you're out of state. Doesn't cost you anything. We're never going to ask you for a contribution. We're never going to ask you for $1. When the time comes for donations to be requested, you'll get it from the Trump Victory Fund. That money has to go directly to the president's campaign. I'm not looking for your money. I'm looking for your time. I'm looking for your talent, and I'm looking for your prayers. So we've grown. And all we ask the people to do when they're members of New Jersey Team Trump is to get and receive our Make America Great Again briefing papers and newsletter. You get that free. Everything is free. We're asking you to take what we send you, post it on your social media platform so that thousands and thousands of more people will get that. We ask you to come to our events, and our events, folks, are free so far. All you pay for is the food and the soda and the coffee and anything you want to eat. You just pay your own way. But New Jersey Team Trump does not have cover charges. We ask you to come to enjoy yourself. So you don't have to pay any entrance fees. Whatever the cost is to get a place and to feed people, that's what the cost is going to be. Now, there are organizations who invite us to their organizations. There are fundraisers that we go to, and there are other events, and at times they're going to charge a fee. That's fine, but we don't. We don't. We know that you need to use your money on your taxes, on your bills, on your quality of life. So everything we do, we make sure that, at least to the best of our ability, it's not going to cost any more than what it's going to cost the price to have a venue and to have food served. That's a pretty good deal. So those are the things we do on New Jersey Team Trump. We urge you, if you are in another state, to do the same thing, just to email us. Now, I'm going to give you an email address. Now, the email address is steve@teamtrumpnj.us. That's steve@teamtrumpnj.us. And this will be posted, that address. Give me 10 minutes after we post it on the other social media platforms, including Facebook, and then you'll be able to actually email us, and then we'll get you on our mailing list. And you're going to get every week, you're going to get facts and great information about the president's Make America Great Again agenda, a calendar of our events, and on and on and on and on. It's going to be pretty neat stuff. January 18th, remember, in Montclair. January 25th, we're going to be in Monroe Township. February 6th in Middlesex County, New Jersey. And boy, we're going to be getting around as the year moves on. That's about it, folks. It's 8:00 p.m. This went pretty smooth. So I want to thank you for joining me here. This is what we call the Rogers for America broadcast, and we will be broadcasting live streaming on YouTube every Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Urge you to subscribe. It's something new that we're trying. Let's see how it works out. So far, so good. We're up to 600 subscribers already within the past 24 hours or so. Thanks so much for joining me. God bless you. God bless America. And God bless the President of the United States.